you're not going to be defending any of those titles for the foreseeable future. Tell us pretty much why a gold medal winning career is pretty much coming to a very early premature finish at the age of 26. Yeah, tell us about that.
Well, last year, the World Championships, I was reclassified. Everybody's being reclassified because they're trying to upgrade the system, and they decided that I'm not disabled enough. So it's sort of, I still don't understand how they came to the decision they have done. It seems in direct conflict with the medical evidence that I got from practitioners around the country, ones that I'd not even met before but were really nice and sort of said, look, I'll sort of write and explain all about your condition so these physiotherapists can have a better understanding of quite a complicated disability. And they decided that ultimately I'm not disabled enough because I don't look disabled when I walk.
Right.
And that because one day I may get better, my disability doesn't classify anyway.
So how does that feel? Because that's, I mean, I'm sat here and I know you don't want my sympathy or anything like that, but you know, I'm feeling so, I feel sorry for you because it's, you know, you've achieved so much up to the age of 26. You know, I'm probably going to state the obvious here. That's gotta hurt.
Yeah, I was devastated when I found out, and to start with, more than that, I can't shoot, I physically can't shoot stood up. I use a specialised stool that was custom made for me because I can't even pull a bow back stood up. My balance is so bad, and yeah, they were going to take that away from me, so I'd have to retire full stop. And they've now decided that I'm disabled enough to be allowed my stool to sit down, and I'm just not disabled enough to go to a Paralympics. So I think there's quite a lot of confusion there which didn't help, and because of that confusion it does feel a little bit unjust, which made it even worse, I think. But yeah, I was gutted. I had a whole little plan. I was going to go to Rio, I was going to defend my Paralympic title, try for a third gold medal, and in Rio I'd have the option of going for 2 medals. There was 2 medals up for grabs this time, and before there'd only ever been 1. So you know, that was sort of really, really exciting, and all those opportunities were just taken away from me. I was funded as well, and that got cut. So you know, I was just basically lost my job, my whole lifestyle in one day.
I mean, just from a personal point of view, I mean, obviously the word gutted could really sort of like sum up a whole hot heap of feelings. Just, I mean, honestly, how did you feel? Because I would have been probably bereft.
I was, yeah. A lot of me, I think my first response is I turned around and said, well, what am I going to do now? I gave everything to this sport. And I moved here to Telford. I'm from Yorkshire originally, hence the dodgy accent.
We'll forgive you.
Yeah, so you know, I moved all the way down here so I could train full time. I'm not even allowed to use the facilities at Lilleshall anymore. And yeah, I've joined a local club and they've been great. But
they must hate it when you turn up. That's the show off again.
Oh no, they are brilliant and they're so funny and nice. And the thing is, I can't even walk to the target to collect my arrows. And so this is what really frustrates me. I'm dependent on other people being there so they can go collect my arrows and help me, but I'm not disabled. You know, it doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
So
look, we're going to move on to the future, okay?
Sure.
And obviously we've met through a mutual friend of ours, David, and you decided you're going to embark on a bit of a new career with business mentoring, and looking at NLP. When we've spoken privately, you didn't really sort of criticise sports motivation. You didn't kind of get it though. So what did you use to kind of inspire you? And is this where the NLP comes from?
As As in inspire, as in you mean using external inspiration?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been like that though. I've never used anything sort of external to inspire me. And I remember being at school and we were told to write an essay about our heroes, and I just couldn't do it because I didn't have one. And everybody else in that room had a hero, somebody they really looked up to. And it wasn't that I didn't look up to anybody, I did. I just never classed anybody as a hero. I never sort of put somebody in that box. I thought that's so fantastic, but I want to achieve that. I want to do better things. I look at the top people in archery and they are incredible. I respect them fully, but I want to be better than that. So I've never, I can see how other people use it. I've never had that. I've always looked at myself, my own performance, and how I can get better, and that's sort of how I motivate myself.
Do you think that's going to help people in business when they because obviously there's a lot of self-analysis that goes in, especially being a sports person. I don't know much about archery, obviously, but I'm just sort of saying, perhaps because it's down to millimetres with you guys.
Absolutely.
So it's a case of that last shot. If I'd have just put it slightly to the left because the wind was doing this X, Y, or Z, yeah. Do you think that you can take that sort of self-analysis forward in the business arena, and that help motivate and drive people as well?
Absolutely. I mean, through my entire career, it's always been a case of building on my experiences, going to one international event, looking at that, how that went, reviewing it, and then making it better for next time. And it's always focusing on that next performance, sort of working towards that to make it better and better. So you keep improving and you're constantly evolving. I think that's really, really important for businesses as well.
I mean, people always say that success is a mindset. Okay. How are you thinking that your mindset as a sports legend? Let's be fair. You've got that many medals. Any burglar that comes around here is going to need a truckload to get them out of here anyway. But how do you think that your sort of mindset can really help people in business? Because there are so many small to medium-sized businesses, and I know we've talked before we started recording this about some of the largest types of businesses as well. How do you think a successful mindset can help businesses of any size improve and just get better?
Well, having a successful mindset is your fundamental sort of thing it is fundamental to success. That mindset is just so important. And a lot of us tend to be quite negative, and we remember our failures, and that's just our body's way of protecting us. But we don't want to remember the failures. We've got to remember the successes, the things that you're sort of really proud of. But we don't tend to do that, and it's just shifting this mindset, tweaking it slightly. It is hard work, especially when you are experiencing moments of really high stress and pressure. You sort of go straight into your little negative box then. But it is so important for businesses, if you want to be successful, to change that mindset.
Okay. NLP.
Yeah.
You love NLP.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us why you love NLP so much.
Well, when I got onto Squad in 2006, I saw the benefits of the mental side straight away. My first tournament, the one you're talking about, European Championships 2006, complete disaster. Yeah, I broke a world record in the ranking round. Really, really excited.
I just broke a world record. It's fine.
No, well, I was so excited because it was my first international event, and I went there. I won against really, really experienced competitors, and I was absolutely amazed. But you don't get medals for ranking rounds. You next go into the ranking round effectively just ranks you.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever comes first shoots off against whoever comes last, second to last, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And the match play, I completely fell to pieces. The last place I could have come was fourth, and I came fourth. And it was a complete disaster. And it's just because I couldn't hack it mentally.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd never had that until that point. I'd always coped with pressure really, really well. But I I didn't get on with a sports psychologist, unfortunately, and I ended up avoiding her like the plague. And in fact, it wasn't actually until 2011 that I fully understood what sports psychology was and how it could help. So, you know, on Squad in 2006, find out what sports psychology is 2011. It's a really big gap.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, I knew this mental side was so important. So I went and did a course to become an NLP practitioner. And that was amazing because it taught me to be a little bit more self-aware, to recognise how and what I'm thinking, and basically turn you onto that sort of successful mindset and sort of push you down that path, which was really, really helpful.
Okay. So you run NLP workshops with your sister. Yeah.
Well, sort of.
Sort of with your sister.
She's sports psychology, so and I'm the NLP and experience bit.
So do you both just sit there and argue with each other for the entire workshop then? No. Okay.
So we argue outside of it, but yes.
So in your NLP workshops, as NLP certainly within our industry is becoming, I would say it's always been there. It's becoming a bit more of a buzz phrase, a bit more of a buzzword, and people are starting to become aware of it since the phrase client-centered learning came into being, and that's been last year's buzzword. When you run a workshop, what kind of things would somebody expect to learn? What kind of benefits would they find in their own personal performance, but also helping their clients or their pupils in their personal performance as well?
Well, for your own personal performance, I've got the stress management part of it, which I think is really, really important.
Certainly is when 17-year-olds are trying to kill you on a daily basis.
I can imagine, yes. But I think the thing is, none of us are taught how to deal with stress or pressure. You're either good at it or you're not. And if you're not so good, there's nobody there to teach you how to get better. And that's what we're taught in sport. You know, you've got to be good at pressure, especially something like archery, where one tiny mistake at this end just has massive repercussions at 70 metres. You know, just sort of a slight thing wrong is the difference between the middle and missing the target completely. So I've learnt all these great techniques through NLP, through experience, and also through the sports psych bit with my sister. So we're teaching people how to deal with pressure, long-term, short-term coping strategies. Then the other part of the workshop, sort of more of the NLP thing, which helps you to become a better communicator. Really, really important when you're sort of spending your day teaching people.
Yeah.
Again, how to sort of deal with conflicts and sort of deal with different personality types. Because, you know, you can be explaining really, really well sort of how to do something, and the person you're explaining to might not have a clue, because you think you're explaining it well, they just don't understand the way you're explaining it. So it's sort of making people sort of fall in line and come on board and sort of become more effective communicators that way. I think it's really, really important.
Cool. One of the last points I want to come on to, and it was something you alluded to a little bit earlier when we were talking about 2012.
Yeah.
Obviously preparation for any of your sporting events, but preparation in business is always quite important. And I know we've had a conversation before. Tell us a little bit about what was happening to your coaches. You know, these were the guys that were meant to be getting you ready for the biggest sporting event on home soil that we've ever seen in a lifetime. And your coaches were falling apart around you. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I was in a really good place before I went to London. Earlier in the year, in January, I'd won an indoor World Cup on the able-bodied. You know, it's massive. I'd won every able-bodied domestic tournament in the country, and I was shooting really good scores going into London. And we had our last training camp before the games. The staff were visibly nervous, and they were running around flapping, trying to make sure we got all this preparation. And to me, it felt like they were doing last minute things. We learnt things in the psychology things that we should have learnt 2 years ago. not a month before going to the games.
Mhm.
The sort of staff were, have you got this, have you got, and it was sort of not the calming influence that you really needed. And then again in the games, I remember going to one of my first match, and I was ready shooting, a bit nervous because it meant so much to me. And the team manager came over, have you got this, have you got this, have you got this? And I had everything, but because he was sort of questioning it, I just sort of panicked and went, yes, but you sort of putting those thoughts in your head that you didn't need, and I think it wasn't their fault. They weren't taught how to deal with pressure the same way we were, and you can't blame them for that. They needed the same sort of help and input that we did, but they just didn't get that support.
Yeah, because I can only imagine sort of leading up to one of the biggest events of your life, and it's sort of like all of a sudden you've started to get these little doubts in the back of your mind, even though they fully intended not to put them there.
Yeah. But
they were still unwittingly putting those doubts in your head.
They were trying the best, and you can't fault that. But I think looking at it for future, I think it's definitely something that needs to be incorporated. And I guess it's the same for you guys, isn't it? When you're sort of leading up, taking somebody to the test, they're a bit nervous. You know that maybe once they get a bit nervous, they start making mistakes, and you don't want that to be visible. You've got to be there as a calming influence, and somebody that. And I think it's also important to recognise how they work. And this is what the NLP gives you. It's looking at other people, looking at how they work, how they behave, and what they respond to. And it's sort of, you can then put those mechanisms in place for them and say, they might like listening to music, or they might like just joking around, and it's sort of working out what responses to give them to help them sort of be less nervous when it comes to taking a test.
Brilliant. So, next 12 months, what have they got in store for you?
Well, I've just set my own company up, doing the stress management, NLP training. With stress management, I want to help with businesses in the education sector to help with exam anxiety, bit of a mouthful, and in sport as well, teaching athletes sport psychology. So that's all very exciting. I'm also doing motivational speaking, again talking on a range of topics, all about my experiences and things that would really help in business, like overcoming adversity. Thriving on adversity, I think, is really important. I think a lot of people in business do stress management, and people buy into that. I don't want to just teach people how to manage stress. I want to teach people how to thrive on it and perform really well under it. So, yeah.
Brilliant. Danielle, thank you so much for your time. It's been really good to talk to you. Thank you ever so much. We've learned so much. Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.